All right, baby, this is Old Master right here. King of Big Dog Style. Master of the pop-up headbutt. King of the trailer court. The Southern Psycho. Right here. Y'all listen to Wrestling Cheers. You dummy if you ain't paying attention. Listen, subscribe, like, share, all that business, baby. Old Master right now. I'm going to drink some light beers.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially at the Odeon. This is Wrestling Cheers. We like to talk about things going on in the South independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a review episode for last Friday's AIW show, the JT Lightning Invitational Tournament, Night 1. Wrestling Cheers is brought to you by Trending Topics Network, Midwest Territory, and Key on Sports. I am your host, Justin Summers, and please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, and we have the merch store over at WhataManeuver.net. Like I said, this is a review of Night 1 of the JT Lightning Invitational Tournament, Night 1. And also on this week, we have Kayden.
I'm back.
You're back after...
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks or 2 episodes? The
schedule's been so weird the last month and a half.
Yeah. Well, and then having to squeeze in 2 episodes last week, and because you weren't on, we were able to fit someone else.
That is my own fault.
Yeah, let that in communication. I wasn't sure how long you were gifting for, because I don't really get a chance to watch the Beyond show live. So, basically, we had...
I didn't think recording at 11 o'clock at night would be a good idea.
Well, I have time, so it doesn't matter.
No, I know.
In your place last week, and back on the show this week, we have Charly Butters.
Hey, guys.
You're about to be on a tear?
I am, man.
On a tear?
2 weeks in a row. 2 weeks on a row.
I think we should just put it on a tear throughout the whole thing. For those who don't know, Charlie went back and listened to the episode with his co-host, and it was pointed out, but I forget which one, that he said on a tear a lot on the episode, so that's going to now be the running joke for him.
Hey, everybody going into the Big Uns tournament was on a tear, man.
Hey.
Can't help it.
That's what happens sometimes. So now we just told everybody, so everybody's going to be looking for it or listening for it.
Do a shot every time you hear it.
We don't sell shot glasses like Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, so I can't tell you to take a shot of our shot glasses. We still have the beer koozies and pint glasses. Those are still available, $10. I forget how many I have left. They're in my storage, most of them.
Yeah.
So
I was surprised you didn't throw those in on the JLIT bracket.
Actually, they were. It was something we talked about when we weren't recording. I was like, just throw it in. It doesn't have to be announced because the big ticket thing was the APSO ticket. But
the big ticket thing was the ticket.
Yeah, the big ticket thing was the ticket. And that was run. Jesus Christ. That was one.
Do it live.
That was won by Russell Williams at Hal Grayson on Twitter. So, friend of ours.
And no one likes him. It's the worst.
He wins a lot of... Doesn't he win a lot of the gauntlet for the cage?
No. It's the other one.
Oh, yeah, it's Michael.
Don't like him either. I don't know if he listens or not. But either way, bury him too.
No, they don't listen. Well, I don't think Michael does. Anyway, so congratulations to Russell on winning such a crazy package, and you got a free front row seat to Absolution. So either that means you only have to pay for one ticket, or you ain't paying for a ticket at all. So good for you. All right, let's get into the review of night one of the JLIT. And both nights of JLIT started off with tweet snafus by me. I'll openly.
And this is my fault for not catching that.
I don't even think you caught the second one. You didn't catch night two. I caught night two, and I felt like an idiot. And I think it was both of them I did for 2 matches. Night one, I was tweeting the pre-match stuff on my personal Twitter, and I didn't notice it till 2 matches in. And then night two, I tweeted the first 2 matches as hashtag CBMTTT because I just spent a whole event using that fucking handle. So I just kept using it, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, we're back to JLIT 2019.
Oh, wait, wrong one.
So I don't even think you caught the second one, but I caught the first. Well, I caught them both, but first one I was dumb.
Professional.
Dumb. But we started off with, and I have to, because I did quote tweet them with hashtag tweeted from the wrong account. We started off with Lee Moriarty versus what was supposed to be Cole Cabana, but Cole Cabana was injured. And we got keeping the streak alive, Colin Delaney.
Last minute, keeping the streak alive.
Yes. Which this is not the first time it's been a last minute, right, for him? I thought he had one other time.
He's always been in the tournaments.
Okay. So, yeah, Lee Moriarty versus Colin Delaney. Well, how'd you feel about this, Kayden?
This is a fun way to start the weekend. It's a pretty big match for Lee, who's still... I'm probably going to get corrected on this, but he's still fairly new to wrestling. And getting something like this, especially in JLIT, was cool. Sucks it on Cabana, but hey.
I have Lee Moriarty's theme song stuck in my head, but just the beginning. And I don't know why. But I know I'm not the only one. I've seen other people talk about it.
It's actually pretty good.
I have that in my head, and I have Mance Warner's theme in my head.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I downloaded Mance's because I did not have it, and I don't know what Lee Moriarty's song is, so I don't have that just yet. But how did you feel about this match, Charlie?
It was a fun opener. I was bummed, obviously, that Colt couldn't be there. I still had Lee winning the match, though, so... And I tweeted at him that I'm bummed every time he comes out that he doesn't come out with the opening to a Wu-Tang Clan song where they're like saying Tyga style. And every time like he comes out, I just think about that. And I'm like, it'd be so much cooler. But he said he doesn't want to use it until he is a Wu-Tang sponsored athlete. So we need to make that happen for him.
Oh, in due time. In due time. But it was Lee Moriarty advanced to the second round off of a cradle pin.
Pins are something I'm not very good at calling.
I'm not good at moves at all. So, yeah, because to me it would just be he won by pinfall.
He pinned him.
Which, like, I've never really talked to a lot of people about how results are done. Because there's some people like me who just say, hey, this person won by pinfall. This person won by submission. And there's people like you who do, like, I was by this and that. And, like, even if
it's more fun being a bit more detailed.
Yeah. But I've never heard anybody, like, bitch. Like, oh, you didn't put in a move. They're just like, all right. Like, everybody seems to be fine. I mean, though, I would love that you tweet that. Because when you're not there, I'm just picturing people going, oh, great. It's just, oh, pinfall, submission. Like, oh, God. Like,
oh, it's just a not detailed one.
Yeah. But then again, some people will take our results and they'll just do, they won, this person lost. So I'm like, does it matter? But that's get the crazy thing with this show, it didn't even really matter that we were tweeting results because I think if a lot of people couldn't be there, they were watching on Fight TV.
Yeah, that's the thing. This was actually on iPay-per-view, which is a big difference from usual. There
were people live gifting, so there was a lot of stuff covered. That's another the reason why I didn't do Instagram videos, and I haven't done Instagram videos for a while, only because, and it's not that necessarily being lazy, but there's been a few venues that I'm sitting there doing video and
it just doesn't.
Well, it doesn't load. I get home and it's still trying to load videos. One time, And I forget exactly what show this was. Like, when I left, it was still uploading videos, but when I got home, it uploaded everything in order. So I thought, okay, cool, it's going to keep the spots of where those clips are. Then
I think that was a December show.
That's what I thought too. And then when I did, I think it was 7 Year Itch, it posted them in like whatever loaded they were actually uploaded. So it would go from like first match, third match, back to the second. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this. And I was actually having a lot of signal troubles just night one. Like, it would show me, okay, I have full bars, I have service, but like tweet was taking a while to go through. So I'd have to not always, but every so once in a while I'd have to throw my phone in airplane mode, take it right back out, and that tweet would go out and bike within seconds.
It's funny, I'm 2 seats down for you, and I was having no issues.
Then again, what's your service provider?
Verizon.
I got Sprint. So
fair enough.
Yeah, that could make a world of difference. So now it's something that I kind of play by ear, whether I'm going to do videos or not. Like, I like doing the videos, but also with this one, it was like, people don't need it. Like, the only way you're going to need it is if you are cheap enough and you didn't order it on Fight TV and you're not going to watch all these GIFs. So
even I was posting stuff.
Yeah, so, well, I took a couple videos, but most of them, like, I never tweeted out. Like, the only one that I've tweeted out was, I want to say
Was it a Marco Stunt video?
No, it was not a Marco Stunt video. It was actually the entrance from Matt Justice, where he ran in the corner to Stacy, and oddly enough, Rick also took a video at the same time. So we have like a really cool
angles.
Yeah, we have different angles of the same thing. Because he tweeted his video out a day or two ago, and then I replied with the video I had, because I was like, oh, cool, because I just wanted a video of, because he was not, like, on our side, he wasn't coming by and hitting hands. He'd hit the one corner, look at Stacy, turn, and just fucking run towards him.
Just bolt at him.
So I was like, it'd be really cool to get a video of this. So I did, and then I just didn't think about anything till that. But no, it was not a Marco. I don't think I did any Marco Stunt videos, believe it or not. I'd have to see what videos I actually did. I know I did the spot of Joshua Bishop and Dominic Guarini going through the door,
which I moved out of the way of.
I was right in front of. What else? Oh yeah, those are the only videos I took.
That might be a spoiler on results with that spot. Haven't exactly got into anything yet.
That's day 2. So, and I haven't necessarily decided how these episodes are going to go out. Like, this is obviously this week. I don't know if we'll do JLIT back to back and then Biggins, or we'll do it the way it went. I just haven't decided yet. But anyway, back to the matches, I should say. Next up, we have Pat Buck versus Hornswoggle. And, like, I wasn't very familiar with Pat Buck. I hope Pat Buck is a dude that comes back, maybe not every single month, but here and there, just sporadic. Like, I wouldn't be too upset if maybe Pat Buck is our new Tracy Smothers booking, where we do it not every couple months, or like twice a year. So, I mean, I didn't think he was something to write home about, but...
No, not really. He's cool. I like him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was at least cool. Like,
real interesting entrance gear.
Different both nights, which was awesome. Spoiler alert. Well, that's necessarily a spoiler. There's people that were in night 1 and night 2 and didn't necessarily win night 1. But there's the entrance of Hornswoggle. If you've seen the pictures the past about month or so, that Hornswoggle, his look is being compared to AJ Styles. Well, he comes out as AJ Styles.
Phenomenal 1.5, man.
Phenomenal 0.5. What were your thoughts on this, Charlie?
It was a fun match. When Hornswoggle was trying to get Pat Buck to do a leapfrog, it was pretty good. It was. I picked Buck for this one too, just because I figured he's new, he's a bigger guy. I figured he'd squash Swoggle, so it was a good time though. It was a fun match. Like, once he came out as AJ Styles, I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And that was worth the price of night 1 alone.
How about you, Kayden?
This match was fun. Very different from anything else on the show. And as usual, Swoggle entertained.
Yeah, I think if you would have told me, well, how many years ago? 2 or 3? His first one? Hornswoggle? Or his first JLIT? Some of the years just blur together.
Yeah, I was about to say, I want to say 3, but that doesn't sound right.
It's at least 2 or 3. It all depends on when Kurt Hawkins went back, because that was the last time I believe that was the last time we seen him, and I don't remember.
It was whenever Billy Gunn was here.
Billy Gunn, I want to say that was 2 years ago. That sounds right to me, without me looking up when my picture with Billy Gunn was. But I want to
say that would have been 2017 then. I don't know. I'd have to double check on that one too.
No. I'm wrong. 3 years. That is 3 years. For some reason, my mind was in 2018 mode, so 3 years was 15. So I think it has been 3 years. But all in all, like all the stuff that Swoggle's been through, he's always entertained. Even going back to when he finally turned, well, not finally turned, but when he turned against Britt Baker, and we had that going on for a while, like twins and everything, like he's good.
Everything he's done has been something different.
But I think if you would have told me that week that he was going to be really good in AIW and not just like, oh, look, I'm Hornswoggle, I'd have been like, I don't believe it. But he's killed it. He has absolutely killed it.
Because he can have a serious match, or he can actually go out there and just have fun. Ha funny. He could do both, and it's great.
And I don't know if people agree with me or not, but I always think him on the AIW podcast is good. Especially when it's him and Thorne, because it's two bookers, two promoters talking, and there's a little bit more that Hornswoggle is going to get out of Thorne, I think, than most people will.
But even if he's not on there regularly.
Oh yeah, like whenever the randomness that he pops up, before the rap show, like when they did a sit down that came out like a week or two later, and there. Granted, it was a lot of Hornswoggle trying to push Thorne into a fucking death match. Well, I forget with who off the top of my head.
Eddie Kingston.
Well, we know that's the new goal, and we'll probably we'll get to that. I think night 2. But loved Hornswoggle, love Pat Buck, but it was Pat Buck advanced via spear.
Big boy spear.
Next up, we had Trey Lamar versus Joshua Bishop. These two had something to prove. Maybe Trey Lamar more than Joshua Bishop. Joshua Bishop has been, quote, on a tear lately in AIW. So you'd figure tonight would be one of those nights too. But what did you guys think about this? Start with Charlie.
I just remember the slaps that Bishop gave Trey. They were loud. That's the main thing I really remember from it. It was a really good match, but the slaps, like when he just get him hyped and just slap him, it was. Oof.
How about you, Kayden?
This was honestly one of my matches of the weekend.
Okay.
I had a feeling it was going to be once it got announced, just because the no consequences stamp will never really split up, but they did in a weird way.
Yeah.
And yeah, this very much held up as one of my matches of the weekend. These two absolutely killed each other. Bishop was trying to put Trey through the ring in the third match on the show.
He wasn't successful at that, but he did it.
He was close.
He did advance via the Awesome Bomb.
There was a super one. I forgot to put that in there.
Yeah, he did like a lot of the Sid Vicious staple moves, like the side slam, the choke slam. He threw that boss man slam that was really good. It's good stuff.
I think Joshua Bishop is an early candidate for, well, if there is one, I'm hearing mixed about that, if whether we are at the end of the road for JLIT or whether there will be a JLIT 2020. If there's a JLIT 2020, Joshua Bishop, or fucking Gauntlet for the Gold next year, Joshua Bishop. That is my early pick. We'll see what happens when we come January and we do the other early picks, which that'll be something we get into for night 2, because the two people that were picked on the show, the one we did in January, both of them made it to the finals. So that'll be a fun one to talk about for night 2.
And oh boy, those finals.
Without talking too much about it, which granted the results are out there, but is that the greatest finals in JLIT history?
Yes.
How about you, Charlie?
Man, honestly, this is my first JLIT, so it's if it's my first, it's my best regardless. So
I've been lucky enough to be at all of them.
So have I. I think the one thing about most of the JLIT finals, there's 2 that get in there that you expect, and then there's a third one that's just like, he deserves it, but I didn't have them in my finals. And I think this one, a lot of people had as their final 3. The only one that might have been a difference is Joshua Bishop might have been in there, because I think that was a possibility too.
This was this year where it was like, I don't know. It could go this way or go this way, or it could maybe go that way.
And then once we got down, we actually had the finals. It was who the fuck was going to win, because you could see any of those 3 as
everyone wins.
Yeah. So
regardless, everyone won.
Mm-hmm. Have we had a year where the winner's been booed?
Ethan Page, maybe.
Well, I wasn't booing that year, so
that's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, but that might have been the one that a lot of people were against, and I could understand why. But yeah, I think that might have been it. People weren't booing Janela. People weren't booing Tracy. People weren't booing Elgin at the time. Yeah, I don't think anybody. Eric Ryan, especially when he won, because that was a long build. Yeah, and that was the night I'll never forget. Yeah. So more on that episode match later on. Next up, we had MJF versus Savio Vega. Give MJF a little bit of credit. He did not have a Bruiser Brody comment like I thought he would, but he still hit him with a few lines. So I was happy. I was happy that we got to see the brutal MJF that I love so much. But yeah, I don't have much thoughts on this match. Savio didn't take off his jacket either night that he wrestled, so not highly impressed with Savio. But there was still like a minor cool factor with me where I thought of when I was an early fan watching it and like watching him and Razor Ramon, and that's something that I treasured. But other than that, that's pretty much it. What were your thoughts on this match, Charlie?
It was quick and to the point, and it was exactly what it needed to be for Savio to advance. So it was cool to see Savio. I really didn't have any special interest in seeing him, but I did find it funny that MLW is now advertising him.
How about you, Kayden?
This match was fun. It wasn't standout or anything, but it was cool. Real neat seeing Savio wrestle in person.
It was Savio that advanced via the heel kick, but
that surprised me.
The biggest thing to come out of all of this was, well, basically since, the episodes were recorded last week, a particular Big Twan Tucker was at an NXT taping. Not just like there, he was on camera, and if I'm correct, he had a match. So,
well, sorta.
Well, okay, yeah. I didn't read the whole spoiler, but I got a good, just the fact that Big Twan was there, and Big Twan is going to get some exposure. So that was a huge thing going into this show as a whole. And when Big Twan comes out, he gets a NX Twan chant, and like the look on his face was great because he was like happy, but with MJF he was conflicted. So I really enjoyed that, and it was if I'm correct, like Twan partially cost MJF the match.
I think.
Hey, as long as I'm not the only one. We went to a lot of matches in 3 days, or 3 events, 2 days. But the whole
bunch of wrestling.
But the whole point of it was at the end, it looked like everything was fine between Twan and MJF. Actually, MJF like tore fucking Twan apart. Then he apologized for it. Everything was great. They hugged, and low blow by MJF. Did not see that coming. I kind of got to wonder, are we getting Big Twan Tucker versus MJF at Absolution?
I hope so.
How about you, Kate?
Put Big Twan that run towards the Absolute title.
I'm looking forward to the moment that Big Twan Tucker wins some sort of AEW championship. Be it tag team, be it intense, be it absolute. It's going to be crazy.
It's going to be real good.
Next up, we had Mance Warner versus Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham. Another very fun match of the night. And was this the first that was under relaxed rules?
Yes.
Okay. What were you
I did not get injured in this one.
There were a lot of moments throughout this weekend where, especially on our side, it was just get up and fucking move. So many matches like that. To the point of, I want to get shirts made for at least our section. It's a take off Nick Gage's shit of not D Block.
Eastern Block.
Eastern Block Hate Club. I got Jadakiss stuck in my head. I'm about to say D Block. Eastern Block Hate Club to Front Row Danger Club, or if you want to go the route, Danger Zone, because that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
To the point of, I think we started doing this day 2, and I didn't know it because I'm so used to not Turner's, but Mount Carmel to just get up and move. Everybody else in our area was getting up and grabbing their chairs and moving.
It's got to that point. We would have just fold our chairs up.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, gotta go. But
not doing this.
And I think the point is, you and I, Kayden, we try to sit in the center for better pictures, better videos.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah, we pay for that because where are they running and jumping over the top rope? Center of the ring.
We know what to expect.
Yeah, the middle part of our side. So, there was, like I said, a few parts.
It was worse at Turner's because the guardrail was 3 feet from the ring.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And there was very little room there as is. Or better yet, do you remember the Beyond show?
That's one of the shows I missed, but I have it on video.
Really, that's... I'll never forget that show, and I'll never forget Chikara.
I was at Chikara.
Chikara, no barricade.
It's Moisture Child.
But they did have chairs, and then Beyond was just, nope, no chairs.
There were some chairs.
You could grab them and sit down if you wanted, but you were allowed to stand ringside. And that's what I remember. I still got a couple. I actually was going through some of the pictures, and I still have a couple from that show. I got a really good picture of Gargano and ACH. Think that happened.
And it was the 30-minute match, I think.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Wonder whatever happened to those two.
I don't know. They're going to Disney World or something.
Something like that.
Mance Warner versus Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham under lax rules.
Dr. Deathmatch returns.
Dr. Deathmatch did return. How'd you feel about this match, Charlie?
Staple guns. That's all I need to remember. Staple gun was the best.
How about you, Kayden?
Dan had a lot of money stapled to him.
God.
And a pamphlet.
And not only just that, it's Mance used the staple gun on him and then read the pamphlet.
Mama stapled to his face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good. And if
he learned us some things.
Granted, you're listening to the review and our thoughts and everything, but it's great that this is available right now on Fight TV.
You can go watch the show right now.
I want to even say the Smart Mark Video has their rough copy up already.
Yeah, the very rough edit of it.
Yeah. That's the only thing I don't like about buying something from Fight TV that's live. I have the first thing I ever bought from Fight TV was Joey Janela Lost in New York. And literally the first minute or two of that thing is jumbled mess.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever went back and fixed it, but I know the what I have isn't. And it kind of annoys me. Because it's this really cool vignette of MJF going through New York and hearing Wheatus. But it's just like I said, a big, no offense, no pun intended for Joey Janela, but a clusterfuck. And just shit's jumping around and going really fast. It sucks, but I hope they fixed it at some point. So, yeah, this was a fun match, like we said, with the lax rules. And it was Mance advancing via the lariat.
This is another thing that was on my match of the night list for night one. So got a real good match as night one.
Oh, yeah. Next up, we had Flip Kendrick versus KTB. And KTB is just...
From the woods?
He's made such a great...
Doing the gesture right now?
I need to buy...
Not a video podcast.
I need to buy the foam finger. Like, I kind of slacked on it a little bit this week, even though I know I had the money, I could have bought one. But he was telling me later on that this might not be as much for you, Kayden, because I don't know how much your generation grew up with these, but he was talking about his next merch thing that he's going to do is slap bracelets.
I know of those.
Oh, my.
Like, I don't know how big they were for you growing up, at least mine and Charlie's age, that there was a good period of time, those were cool as shit. So he's talking about that's going to be his next merch thing. And I really hope he wasn't fucking with me, because I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah, that's all we need. Something else to beat each other to death with. Because we're all 12-year-old immature children.
Well, at one time you were going to shows as a 12-year-old.
I know this. You act like I've changed whatsoever.
You have. You bring weapons now.
Yes, I've just got creative.
You went from...
I make the shows better.
You went from Johnny Gargano signs to fucking...
I bring you fun now.
Oh, God.
I bring you wiffle ball bats covered in poppers.
And
are you complaining?
The one that I remember the most, I mean, granted, there's a lot, but it's when there was the bottle cap era, where there was just a lot of stuff you were bringing.
Bottle caps haven't died off. Just waiting.
No, but there was a time when they were put on a lot of stuff, and I want to say you gave someone like almost like a little bag of them, and they were used. I just remember with those two, those being used, and then like them just going out like projectiles after the game.
Oh yeah, there was a cooler full of them at the one show.
Cooler, that's what it is. Cooler. I knew it was something. I'm like, I don't know if it was a bag, but I just remember a group of them. As soon as you said cooler. Other than that, if it's not a barbed wire rocking chair or folding chair, the rest is just in its own.
No one's stolen that idea. I'm real happy about it.
I've said it before, the rocking chair is my favorite.
That was just a one-off thing, because those are hard to find. Got to get real creative for the unofficial deathmatch show in August.
But Flip Kendrick versus KTB.
Flip almost broke his ankles on the guardrail. Russell saved him.
Yeah. And that would have been the first time for him, too.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing.
We like you, Flip. Don't die.
Flip is so beat up. Like, in AIW, like some of the shit that he's done and got injured, and like, it's crazy how long he's been around. Like, if I would think back to my first show, he might be one of the few that's still booked in AIW. Him,
Lyndon,
because I think they won the tag team championships when I was there, my first show.
More than likely.
And
Donst.
Adam Donst might have been at my first show. I can't remember, but still.
What was your first show?
Hell Under 7.
Yes.
Seen the... Oh, yeah. Okay, because that was during the stuff between him and Gargano.
I wasn't even there, and I know he was on the card.
I needed to get refreshed a little bit, but yeah. So pretty much those three?
Beverly.
Bobby Beverly. Yes, it's Eric Ryan.
Just gonna run down the list here. Like, it's not an insane amount of people.
No. Most of them, it's either they don't work in the area anymore, or they've gone on to bigger, better things.
I mean, getting that WWF contract isn't a bad thing.
Oh, hell no. I forget the first time, because I think he was at that show, Ooh-Ha.
Good old U-Haul Nation.
U-Haul.
I'll be here all week.
Except on Wednesdays when you're gifting.
And don't follow me on Twitter.
Dinner with U-Haul once. Very interesting guy.
That's we're going off on a tangent, but that's fine. Little something that people don't know about you, Charlie, that I forget that, because I've known you, like, literally since my first few months in as being a fan. You thought I was a fan a lot longer, which is, I guess, a compliment. But you were not only like training to be a wrestler, but you were hand in hand with I don't know how you want to put it, but you were helping with a promotion that didn't last very long. And like you were a cameraman for a couple shows, if I'm correct.
I did camera work for 2 shows. I did the first show I just was there as a fan, but then after that, like, I started helping with all the behind the scenes stuff. Mm-hmm. So
good old Midwest wrestling, not to be confused with the other like Midwest Wrestling in Marion, Ohio. But yeah,
The original Midwest Wrestling.
that lasted.
It had like 4 shows, maybe.
How many shows? Because there was some secret shows in there.
Yeah, there was like 3 shows at the Niles building, maybe 4, and then there was like 3 secret shows. And we like that was supposed to be like our YouTube, like while we were building up other stuff. So there's a plan for all of it, but you know,
The
broken necks happen. Everything just kind of falls apart after that.
promoter leaves the state, moves back to New Jersey, quits wrestling altogether, and oh yeah, he's back to wrestling now, but not promoting.
Oh boy.
Oh, I think he's still promoting, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun, short-lived thing. Because that's where I first heard about Justin Maine. First place I heard about Aaron Epic, which it would be great to get him back up here because he's still been wrestling and been killing it in Florida. It'd be cool for him to just get out of that area and come up here or something. Also,
He said he wants Brett Eisen is the newest thing, and I want it. I want to see that match.
fuck, if Sup books that, I might have another trip going down there.
I begged them, actually, but they didn't even respond, so...
Who else was booked there? That was Elgin had a match there. I think that was the first.
Elgin and Drake for the first time.
Yeah, that's the first time I ever seen either of them. There's a bunch of gimmicks that I did not like. One in particular, I'm not going to get into detail, but I just remember it was horrible. You know who I'm talking about. And
Do I though?
No, not you. Charlie knows. If this dude's still wrestling, he's not wrestling under that gimmick anymore. All I'm gonna say it was Eugene turned up. Oh
no.
Yeah.
I'll need the backstory behind this later.
Well, when we're done recording, but
yeah.
It was not good.
It doesn't sound good.
And I think I compared him to Brian Castle at the time, and I was like, yeah, like Brian Castle's fun. I'm like, this is like too far, and it is uncomfortable. At least for me at that time, like in my mid-20s. Am I missing anybody that was of importance that wrestled there?
ACH and Jason Gorey wrestled.
Oh yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
That was the last time I seen I think the only time I seen the Cutthroat Crew.
Oh man,
yeah, they were on the first show.
Yeah, I have the DVD somewhere.
Ricky Shane Page opened the first show against Eric Cannon and stuff.
Too bad this went nowhere.
Yeah.
Hey man, I was trying to get it back up and running around some stuff with Bobby.
That would have been so much fun. Because I know recently I went through all my wrestling DVDs and actually tried to take most of my WWE shit to the exchange, and they didn't take barely anything. But like I know obviously a lot of my local stuff I wasn't going to take. So I know I still have those videos, and yeah, I think I had I know I had the first show, I had the first secret show, and I don't remember if I had the second one. And then wasn't there another secret show, wasn't it the one that you got injured at?
Yeah, it was like a training day type thing, and then they did like people that did well got matches with like Bobby and a couple people, and there's still footage of it on YouTube. I think that's all that came out of it was the YouTube footage.
And I sent a couple friends of mine who were somewhat trained to that show.
Just somewhat?
I'm trying to remember if that was before or after they had someone to train them. And yeah, I mean, it's a weird story, but I don't think any of them wrestle anymore. They were a part of an organization here locally, and then like that lasted like a couple shows. We'll talk about that later too. Anyway.
Story time.
Let's move on to, because we still have so much to get through.
This is going to be a fun episode.
And it was KTB advances via Super TKO.
Yeah,
no longer doing the DVD.
That Super TKO was a thing of beauty. I've never seen it before, and I popped huge for it.
What were you saying, Kayden?
He's switching it up from the DVD that he usually does. If you've seen any of his GCW stuff, that's usually his finish there.
Yeah.
It's like a rope walk DVD gimmick. Sometimes through a door, sometimes not.
All right. Right after this, we went into intermission, so we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
Coming out of intermission, we had a match that I was thoroughly waiting for. Tim Donst versus Marco Stunt with the wrong music. Reportedly, it was Marco's TV music, not his regular Pat Benatar music, which is a very, very night and day difference. But nonetheless, Tim Donst versus Marco Stunt.
That was Marco Stunt on night one. I thought that was Shayna Baszler's little sister.
Kinda.
That's my one and only thing, man. The little shirt made me laugh.
Yeah, there were.
Other than that, like, I love Marco, but man,
there were people talking shit about that, but I was like, CPA kind of does the same thing. What's the difference? Granted, the CPA shirt isn't as tight, but still. What were your thoughts on this match, Kayden?
This is another match that was pretty wild. It ended up in the crowd.
I got a fist bump from Marco.
Are you happy about this?
A little bit. Like, it was kind of like, in my mind, like a nod to, like, finally getting to see him. And he's going up against my, quote, like, nemesis. And it was one of those other matches. It was right in the crowd, right where we were. So much crazy shit. There was I remember I actually came home and rewatched this because this is another reason to check out the Fight TV or the whatever you want, the MP4 of it. Fucking MJF's on commentary. It starts off with Brian Carson, and then like halfway through Don's introduction, MJF steps in, and Don's was the first one out. So it's mostly MJ. It's definitely 99.9% MJF, and he's fucking killing it. And he tears apart both Donst and Marco. It's great. I think he called Tim Donst like the lightest complexion sumo wrestler or something
The lightest sumo wrestler.
Yeah, and I was like, this is hilarious. But then he'd like get on about Marco, but him being so small. Like there was like MJF is great. Like I want to sit down and rewatch it, all the places that he does commentary, because it's fucking gold. What were your thoughts on this, Charlie?
It was a lot of fun. I too went back and watched it actually yesterday, just to hear the commentary, because I heard somebody say at the show that the commentary was really funny and that you needed to watch it with the commentary. It was a good match. Like in person, it felt really weird. Like I don't know if it was just the way the crowd was, but it felt like a weird match to start. But on TV, it came off way different, and I really enjoyed it. And I think it was a good first match for Marco. I think that was a solid choice. It was a good match.
What was your thoughts on this, Kayden?
Fun match. Glad to see Marco and AIW finally. I feel like he would have been here sooner if his leg didn't get messed up.
Yeah, I've been a fan of his for a little over a year, and I was happy to finally see him here. The crazy story that I've had with him is I've had so many chances to see him live, but you know, things have happened. The first time was he was booked for welterweight wrestling in Cleveland, and he had to back out because he was also double booked at Southern Underground Pro, and that was the show that he won the Bone Storm Championship, so I understand. So that was the first time. The second time was Pro Wrestling Freedom in Jeffersonville, Indiana. He was booked for a show. What seemed to be randomly showed up there, because he was booked for that show, and I didn't tell anybody whatsoever. And about a week or so before the show, he had to pull out for, I believe, AAW. So that was strike 2. Strike 3 was he was booked for Unsanctioned Pro in Columbus, and that was announced before, but the event was after his injury. So obviously he wasn't going to be there. The first time I actually got to meet him was Southern Underground Pro I Am King. He was there, but he did not wrestle, so I at least had that benefit of meeting him. But something I had thought of like within the past month before it was announced that, oh my god, I've met Marco, but I've never seen him wrestle live. I'm like, when the fuck is this going to happen? And boom, here we go, AIW, and I got to see it twice. So I'm super happy about that. And yeah, and not even just being super happy. Marco won via a small package pin. I did not think in a million years that Marco was going to beat Donst, because my whole thought process behind it was I was lucky enough he was booked in Cleveland. I don't have the same luck to seeing him win in Cleveland. Turns out I was wrong.
Told you.
And me and Charlie were like one of the 2 people that were going nuts that fucking Marco won.
I had that kind of luck too, because when Zack Sabre Jr. came to AIW, the 2 times I got to see him, he lost both matches. The time I couldn't go is the time he beat Dom. So I definitely have that record too of the guy I want to see losing. So I'm so like, I used to get really bummed about it. Now I'm like, all right, whatever, it'll be fine. And so I was.
You at least get to
happy.
see the guy wrestle.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
That's my thought process behind it.
Yeah, this is the first time he hit a 450 since he's been back too. So.
Yeah, he mentioned that on Twitter. I think that night or the next day. I can't remember. I think it was that night.
Guess that leg's doing all right.
Definitely. There was also some great, like, because I'm going through the tweets. There were some great retweets that I did from Marco's family about the commentary. Mainly his parents, because Logan was there live. But that's a feud that I don't know where it's going to happen, but I want to see more of it. Love Marco. I love MJF. I feel Marco's a lovable, good guy, even though there's people that absolutely hate him. And I think the same opposite goes with MJF. I think he's a great bad guy, but there's definitely people, even like myself, who love him. I think they have a great feud. The JLIT Night 1 continued with Lewis Linden versus Kid Cash. Kid Cash is pretty ripped for this show. Like, we were talking about his age, and you could see it, but the dude was jacked. What are your thoughts on this match, Charlie?
I don't know. This is another match that kind of felt sort of weird. Like, everybody was kind of into it, but like, might have been the bathroom break of the night. I don't know. It wasn't a bad match. Like, I thought it was.
It felt odd. Decent, something was off.
Yeah, it just, for some reason, they just didn't click right. I don't know. I thought it was an okay match, but it was just weird.
Cash is a multi-man guy.
Yeah, I could definitely see he did much better too.
He had a real sweet brainbuster in this match.
And that's what he advanced on.
It was real gross. Linden got shorter.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add to it. It was a weird like vibe match, because especially what came before it. I think coming out of intermission with Marco and Don's, split crowds, so much fun. And then the match that came after it was very dynamic, and this kind of fell short. But next up, we had Danhausen versus Matt Justice.
Also under relaxed rules, I believe.
Yes, I think every Matt Justice match is under relaxed rules.
Also known as intense rules, depending on how you want to put it.
Spoiler alert, I think all 3 men that made it to the finals, first round match was under relaxed rules.
Yeah.
So, how long before JLIT's a deathmatch tournament?
Don't joke about that, please. Don't joke.
If Tim Donst loses the title at Wrestle Rage,
yeah, shut up. I got excited about that.
We will have a deathmatch tournament to crown the champion.
Should have ran with that.
And I told you, that it's not happening, right?
I knew.
Like, where would we have it? Besides...
Get away with that stuff. If Game Changer can get away with it.
Yeah, but we were at Mount Carmel at the time.
Yeah, you're polite.
No death matches.
Don't be lazy. Clean up. What else can I say?
But this match was a fun one. It was Matt Justice advanced via DDT on an open chair.
DVD.
DVD. Why did I say DDT? There was 2 D's and there was another consonant there. I have, trouble.
It's after 10 o'clock. You're tired.
So yeah, a DVD on an open chair.
This match is fun.
This is probably my match of the night. I love Danhausen. Like, he's my favorite thing going in AIW right now.
Love that.
And
Danhausen.
I love Matt Justice. Yes, I love Matt Justice too.
The ace of AIW.
Yeah. He going in, I was like, man, this would be a really big upset if Danhausen picked it up, but it would launch him. Like, it would be a big deal. But I was totally okay with how things played out. They did some gross spots that I cringed. I worried. I thought
you should worry during every Matt Justice match,
especially for Kayden.
Yes,
I'm finding that out.
Watch night 2. Like, you'll find out.
I'm finding this out. Like, this is the first year I've been to almost every show, so like I'm definitely quickly finding out that I need to be worried every time.
Just get your stuff. Just be prepared to move.
It's the only thing that I like and hate about this venue. You're not allowed to bring in like any type of bags. And I normally bring in a messenger bag to bring in maybe some water for myself, maybe an energy drink. Not supposed to bring in outside food, but maybe not. But it's definitely the thing that I use it for is like if I buy a shirt, it goes in there. If I buy an 8x10, it goes in there. So
I haven't got yelled at yet.
Ooh, we did the first time. I was told no. And I didn't even attempt to bring it in this time. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
I haven't got yelled at.
That's true. You and Russell had brought in a bag, and I didn't even think about it. Anyway. Well, because of that rule, like, I don't bring in my bag, so it's easier just to, like, get up and go. It's like, whoop, whoop.
Until you get a concussion.
I've not had that. I always get hit in the knee. It, like, my knee is right there, like, on the buckle of the barricade. Someone comes at me, and like an idiot, I don't have my feet on the guardrail. Because normally that helps either impact it a little bit to where I'm just getting pushed back, or like it takes everything and I'm fat and I can hold everybody back.
Yeah, during Biggins, the Biggins tournament, I didn't pay attention and Bobby Beverly got thrown into the guardrail right next to us. Somehow Jared's shoe come flying off and my knee got banged up real bad. He thought he broke his shin. I don't know. It was pretty funny. I thought it was funny. I mean, I was in pain, but it was funny.
I hurt, but this is funny. Ow.
The shoe came off. Like, I was like, did you die? How did your shoe just come off? Like, it made no sense, but it happened.
That's AIW. It makes no sense, but it happens. That went on a shirt.
On a side note, something I was just thinking about. You figure Danhausen, Zach Thomas, and KTB could be like 3 of the dark horses going into 2020.
Yeah.
All 3 have had really great years so far. Not at the level as of Matt Justice and Bishop, but, you know, they could easily move to that same level next year.
Let's say Justice had a great year last year, too.
But he keeps like having better and better years. I'm saying like dark horse as in like comes out of nowhere per se, and just like oh my god, he's having a top notch year.
But like they've been consistently having good matches, even though they get thrown into a lot of scrambles, which I understand why. But like,
it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not. I'd like to see more single stuff out of all 3 of them. Like Zach Thomas has been getting those opportunities in singles, and I'd like to see Danhausen get more because like this is really the first singles I've seen him in since I've been going to shows this year, and I thought it was just it elevated him. Like him and Justice worked really well together.
Oh yeah, that match was fantastic.
And it felt like it elevated him to this level, like even being in the ring with Justice, that now he
was going to go to that crazy level that Justice is.
And I think he can be somebody to build on in the future. And yeah, hopefully by next year, he's doing big things in AIW.
Speaking of Zach Thomas versus Eddie fucking Kingston was next.
Big boys.
This was a nice rematch.
They hit each other hard.
Yeah. And Zach Thomas advanced via Soul Bomb.
That is the official name for it, too.
I believe you, but fuck. I think this was This was definitely the upset of the night.
I'm mad at myself because I totally thought this was going to happen, but then at the same time I was like, no, Kingston's getting his match at App, so they won't do that, but they should, and then it happened, so.
Sometimes, like, filling out those brackets.
JLIT brackets they're always interesting.
I'm a firm believer you have to go with in between your gut and what's going to make a compelling tournament. And I used that's what we were talking about before we were recording when I won the bracket tournament. I almost had probably would have been one of the most perfect brackets because there was the matchup that I think it was a second round matchup that I figured was going to happen. BJ Whitmer versus Chris Dickinson. And I was going to put down no winner. It's like, there's no way in hell. Like, these guys have had a feud. They're going to wind up in this match and it's going to have to lead to a no contest. There's going to have to be something or nobody wins. But I second guessed myself and said, nah, they're going to have somebody win. And when, like, nobody won that fucking match, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I had that.
This is back when JLIT was still all singles matches.
Oh, God. Like, we talk about long weekends.
Yeah, I don't want to hear anyone complain.
Well, that's like, people were complaining about the air conditioner being on. Like, oh, it's so cold. Oh.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to sweat?
Would you want me to introduce you to Turner's Hall, where it's 4,000 degrees in that building in the summertime?
Oh my God. And then there was the infamous episode 10. Like, you can put on a hoodie. Every time, especially with the weather we're having, bring a hoodie.
It might snow. It's Ohio.
Just bring a hoodie, and if it's too cold, put it on. But
I was fine. I thought it was nice in there.
I was cold when I first got in there, but I think that was just because, like, the second day I was wet from the rain, so that kind of made it miserable. But, like, once we got going, you don't think about that. Like, once you get everything going, and, yeah, you don't even... It was fine. Like, I'd rather be cold than be brutally hot and dying. So...
It's a lot easier to get comfortable when it's a little cold than to have one of those shows to get comfortable and it's hot and you're sweating. Mm-hmm. Charlie and I could speak on
GNO where it was like 4 degrees.
Charlie and I could speak on being fat asses in the crowd and sweating your tits off. Like, sucks. So if I'm in there and it's just a little cold, yeah, I'll take that. And like Kayden mentioned, we had the snowy winter icebox GNO. Which,
oh my God.
My memory is that I just kept singing, do you want to build a snowman?
Turner's Hall was a fun time. Because you're either getting hypothermia or you're going to get heat stroke. There's no in between.
Me and gets in the ring and you're like, hey, you want to take your cut off? She's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, we're just going to do this. Just say something about that building. How cold it actually got in there.
All right, next up we have... Rich Homie Juice AJ Gray versus Nick fucking Gage. Now, if I'm correct, judging by my picture, the AJ Gray came out of the crowd and attacked Nick Gage.
No.
Okay, went out. I have the picture of them out in the ring. Or no, it was something quick to where I couldn't get something in the ring.
See, again, I've seen so much wrestling.
Or AJ got in the ring and then just fucking started.
He made his entrance first.
Yeah, he had the steel chair waiting.
That's what it was.
He jumped Gage during his entrance.
Yeah. So I was somewhat right. He attacked Gage during his entrance. But, I mean, that's the only way you're gonna get Nick Gage. Like, you have to do that kind of shit. Or he's just gonna do that shit to you later on. So I understand where AJ Gray was coming on that one. What were your thoughts on this match, Charlie?
The brainbuster on the chair was gross. And it was topped by the cinder block, so it was what I was expecting from a Nick Gage match. That every time I've seen him in AIW, it's never gotten super crazy and like what he is in all these other companies. So this was like a little bit like that, and I was really happy to finally get to see that version of Gage in AIW. So I was really happy with the match. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be.
How about you, Kayden?
This match is fun. It was a very good example of what deathmatch Nick Gage is, as said, for someone who hasn't seen how crazy Gage actually is when there's weapons involved. It wasn't the longest match on this show, but it was wild. AJ took a pretty crazy bump onto a chair off the apron right in front of us. It's a cannonball type deal, and the chair basically disintegrated.
Yeah, I have it down as about 6 minutes.
It wasn't very long.
Because the first tweet went out for the match at 10:18. Sometimes, like, this might have been one of those moments, too, where I'm trying to put out the tweet, and it's taken a while, and then I have to throw my phone in airplane mode, so I give it a couple minute window there, like it could have started about a quarter after, and then the tweet that you sent out went out at 10:24.
You want to say it was not long.
Yeah, it was not very long, like 10 minutes, not even, under 10. Yeah, it was Nick Gage advanced via power driver on a cinder block. And that leads us to the main event of the evening, Eric Stevens versus Dominic Greeny.
Yes.
Is this Dom's first main event, or no?
I want to say yes, but I don't think so.
Did he have a title match versus Tracy?
That didn't main event.
Okay, then this might
Let
be.
me fact check myself here.
Okay, in the meantime, Charlie, what was your thoughts on this match?
The first thing I want to say is it was really great to see Ed from Pod Van Dam lose his mind when this was starting, because he was definitely all about this match. I thought it was really good. Dom's really grown on me. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves about like wrestlers is like when they don't wear boots. So that always bothered me about Dom, but I look past it now. Like, it doesn't bother me, and I really like Dom. I think that has a lot to do with him being on the some of the other podcasts that I've listened to him on, and he's really grown on me. So like, this match was really good. Eric Stevens really came and impressed, and they had a hell of a match, and I'd like to see him do it again down the road.
Well, I wasn't very familiar with Eric Stevens going in. He was a cool guy to have on the card, and I don't know if he will ever come back. He was asked to come back after night 2.
After 9 years of being away from wrestling.
Yeah, 9 fucking years. Like, I was reading his lips a little bit during his final bow, and he said something about like either thanking everybody or like something like after all these years, he made some sort of comment to himself. And I thought that was kind of cool. And he appreciated at least being there for the night, or for the 2 shows. Any more on the Dom main event?
The only one without really diving into all of the AIW shows he's been on, he main evented Wet Bandits with Mance Warner.
Yes. Yes, now that you say that, I remember that. That was...
Without really digging through every show he's been on.
Well, then we know he's at least main evented there, because that was the UFC 1 rules, if I'm correct.
Bingo.
So, yeah. Like, as soon as you said him and Mance, it clicked, and I remembered that going down, because that was not Mance's first night in AIW. That was his... Second, yeah. Kayden, what were your thoughts on this match?
Very good. They beat each other up for real.
Oh, yeah.
It's exactly what I wanted from this match. I'm very glad Eric Stevens got to AIW while he's back for however long he ends up being back for. He's very, very good. I'm hoping he's back a couple more times before he disappears again. He had a sweet Northern Lights bomb in this match. For anyone that knows why I like that move, points to you. Yeah. Again, another match of the weekend here. And at the time of this recording, I put out my AIW match of the year list, and there's plenty from JLIT weekend on there.
And it was Dominic Greeny who advanced via rear naked choke.
Until he corrects me on that, because he has way too many submissions he uses. Submission man.
So that was a recap review of night 1. What were your thoughts on the show as a whole, Butters?
It was a lot of singles matches, but it was a really fun night of wrestling, and the shows flow so much better now than they used to. Like, I feel like if this was like done 2 or 3 years ago, this show would have went until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and it would have just been exhausting. But it ran smooth, everything flowed real well, and it was definitely a really, really good night of wrestling.
I think that's the one thing about JLIT Night 1. It will forever be nothing but singles matches.
Yeah, it's never going to change.
Yeah. Like, they're gonna keep with the format. of 24 participants, and
that's how the first night of a tournament should be.
Yeah, which is great, because then we have most of the wrestlers going into night 2. Like there was no MJF in night 2. There was no Hornswoggle. If I would have known Hornswoggle was at House of Hardcore, and he might have been advertised for it, but I never seen it or put 2 and 2 together. So we still had good amount of people going into night 2, or even some of the day 2 activities. I do miss the Fan Fest, like the Back to the Future Cup and Chandler Biggs Memorial Tag Team Tournaments. Like those are cool, but the
Fan Fest was fun for the time it was around.
The Win a Date with Veda Scott auction was fun, kind of.
Was it now? No, sir.
Paid way too much.
Are you gonna say how much?
No, because I think last time I did it, someone was like, "You shouldn't brag about that," and I'm like, "I know."
I know, I did it though. You fight me.
There was still other stuff, like some of the little like game shows that they'd throw up, and they'd have the N64 going on in the corner, and people could play that, and all the rest.
Yeah, it was just a fun little thing beforehand.
Yeah,
and they had a couple matches.
Yeah, so I'll always miss the fun of that, of just kind of like hanging out for an afternoon, but turning it into a show, like I can't complain too much.
It draws more money into the company.
What were your thoughts on night 1, Kayden?
It was very, very fun. There wasn't really anything bad on the show. And coming from someone who's been at AIW for as long as I have, it flowed very well compared to some of the old shows that would go for as long as they did.
Yeah.
And you could vouch for that one too.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that is working out in the benefit of that. I mean, we're on Fight TV, and I don't know if they have a window that they need to cut it off by, the fact that they're doing a lot more after parties, and they want to get people to the after party venue with enough time for the rest of the night to hang out and have fun. Yeah, they're really, really tightening the ship. And something that I noticed, I mean, it's been since at least WrestleMania weekend, that almost every match now gets announced as the wrestlers are coming out, except for the main event. They do the traditional in the ring with both opponents standing there, which is kind of really helped things. Like it may be like a minute or two.
It's such a little detail.
It's impactful. Like we're going from wrestlers coming out to boom matchup. So yeah, that's I always love AIW shows. JLIT in general always has a special feeling to it. And it doesn't even matter that this one was almost a month later than what we're used to. It still had the same vibe, the same feeling. The fact that I left...
It was still JLIT.
Yeah. The fact that I left night 1, went home, and then, like, had a couple hours to just kind of, like, hang out, and then, like, get ready for night 2. And the 2 shows that we're going to have, and all that kind of shit. I thoroughly loved it. The fact that 2... and if you haven't done it yet, it's on Fight TV. Go check it out. I think like $25. I don't know how.
Yeah, for the entire weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how many people were like myself. Yeah, I went to the show, but to have a copy.
You want to watch it back immediately.
Yeah, like I was able to just come home and I went, oh, I want to watch Marco versus Dance, and they had matches in, I believe, during the intermissions to help things flow. And also, Filthy Tom Lawler did a sexy dance during intermission at that time too.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over that. I thought, was it?
I had there was a retweet about it, but like I didn't have a tweet about it, so I did. I did the retweet later in the night, but like that was kind of one thing that went down. And it's a cool thing too. You get to relive Matt Justice versus Joshua Bishop from the Odeon from the rap show during that intermission. So I don't know what the other 2 intermissions were, but there's that. And I think that's an awesome fucking match. It's like, oh, by the way, this happened here too. This happened recently. If you haven't seen it already, everybody's talking about it.
Like last month.
Yeah, so
watch 2 guys legitimately try to kill each other.
Yes, sir. But as a whole, love these JLIT weekends. Love all this shit. And actually, I was happy too. I finally picked myself up a hoodie. I'm more of a 3X, which when AIW does shirts, they own or hoodies, any type of wear like that. 3X is the highest they do, and they only do like a small handful. Definitely less than 5, maybe closer to 3. So the first night that they came out, they sold out. I didn't get a hold of one. I thought they only had regular sizes, like more of your small, medium, large and shit. And then as I was on my way out night one, Razor Sharp was about to buy one, and I heard him say 2X. I was like, I didn't know you had 2Xs. And I was told, oh, that's the last one. And he was like, well, if it doesn't fit me, like, you can buy it. Turns out it was just a little too snug for him, so I bought it. So I was really happy to have an AIW hoodie now. Any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go? Start with Kayden.
Just the usual, that KVR216 on Twitter and whatever other social media you care to follow me on. I'm not that interesting whatsoever.
How about you, Charlie?
If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Charly, CHARLY_Butters. I also do a podcast called Not Ready for Primetime Wrestling. You can follow that on Twitter at NotReady4PTW. And if you want to listen to our shows, you can go to NotReady4PTW.podbean.com. We should have a new show coming out probably Thursday.
Same day that the show should be out.
Yes, so you could get a double dose of Charly Butters today.
And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, much like you can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose, a desired WrestlingCheers@gmail.com, and we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. Like I've said before, and I'll say it again, please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Check out our friends on the Trending Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcast friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, The IndieCast, Center Stage, So Bros Network, UXWA Today, Big Gold Belt Podcast, The Co-Host Wrestling Show, Spotlight Series, I Got Your 5 Stars, and Not Ready for Primetime Wrestling. Check out our other non-podcasting friends such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, Set Tab Photo, Powerslam.tv, use Wrestling Cheers, all one word, and get your first month free, Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, Wrestle Void, Key On Sports, Stay Tough, Midwest Territory, Southern Underground Pro, and the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you're fun size. Later.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and we're always glad you came. You're big, what you can say, rose are all the same. You're big, what everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know, people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.